Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time of day it is and whatever part of the world you're at. Welcome back, and today we're going to do another geometry lesson, and we're going to review angle relationships. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Now, at the top here, we have 4 diagrams in which we're going to identify 4 different types of angle relationships, okay? So in the first one, all the way to the left, and let me number these real quick, just to make sure we're talking about the same things. And these are examples here, okay? So this first diagram, both of these angles, this is a display of vertical angles. Okay, so vertical angles are equal, or they're said to be congruent. And the congruent, let me make sure that comes out to be correct with the little squiggly line like that. So angle 1 is equal to angle 2, or angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Or angle 2 is congruent to angle 1. Okay. All right, in the second diagram, so vertical angles are equal or congruent. They're the same as one another. The second diagram is what we call supplementary angles. Supplementary angles. Now, supplementary angles simply add to equal 180. Add to equal 180. Okay? So this equation can be written like this, where you do 68 degrees plus 112 is equal to 180. Or we could say angle 1 and angle 2 add to equal 180. Okay? This third diagram are also supplementary angles, but the more specific relationship, what we call these, are linear pair. Okay, in a linear pair, these are connected, all right, where supplementary angles may not always be connected. However, a linear pair is also can also be described as supplementary angles. Okay, so in this one, which also means that they follow the same rule, they add to equal 180. All right, and what I mean by that is that you can write this as angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. All right, now the last example, number 4, the fourth example here. This diagram represents what we call complementary angles. Now, complementary angles add to equal 90 degrees. And you can probably tell a little bit because you see that 90-degree angle box. So add to equal 90 degrees. So in this one, we can say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees. And whatever expressions if we had any expressions there, that's how we would write the equation to solve for x. All right. So now that we've taken a look at those 4 diagrams, let's take a look at how to apply that information. Okay. So for number 6 here, the first thing we want to identify is that these are vertical angles. You want to identify the relationship. Oops. So vertical angles, which means that they're equal to each other. So 8x minus 5 is equal to 6x plus 29. So I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides, right? Because we're solving for x. That's going to give us 2x minus 5 equals 29. Then we're going to add 5 to both sides. And that's going to give us 2x is equal to 34. And then we're going to divide both sides by 2. Right? Which leads us to our answer, x is equal to 17. So they asked us to find the value of x. Now, what if they asked us to find the value of one of the angles? Well, to do that, we would just substitute x into one of the expressions. So 8 times 5 is 40. 40 minus 5 is 35. So if I wanted to know the measure of both of these angles would add to, would not add to equal, but they would just be both equal to 35 degrees. Okay, because they're vertical angles. Let's take a look at number 7. Now, number 7, these, even though the diagram has them set up as vertical angles, this diagram and the way this diagram is set up, these two angles are what we call our linear pair. Okay, linear pair. And let me go back up here and emphasize something about a linear pair. Linear pairs are linear pairs because they're both on the same line. And you should already know that a straight angle or a line measures 180 degrees. So just like these two angles here are both on the same line, so they're going to add to equal 180. Okay, just another way to know that you have to set the equation up where they both add to equal 180. So let's go ahead and do that. It's going to be 21x minus 11 plus 7x plus 23 equals 180. All right. And now we just work going down. That's going to give us 28x plus 12 equals 180. All right. And let me move this other 180 out of the way. 180. All right. And keep working. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides next. And remember, they're asking us for the value of x. So that's going to give us 28x is equal to 168. And then the last step is to divide both sides by 28. All right. Which is going to lead us to x is equal to 6. Okay. Now, they asked us to solve for x, but if we wanted to know any one of the angles, we need to substitute x into one of them first. So I'm going to do the top one. All right. So let's just say we did 7 times 6 plus 23. That's going to become 42 plus 23. That's going to make, 65 degrees? So this angle here is 65 degrees. If I wanted to know the other angle below, all right, I would just take 180 and minus 165. Let me make that a little better. Oops. 180 minus 65, which is going to equal 115. Right. So this angle here would be 115 degrees. And that's how you would find either one of the angles. Now, if we were to plug in x to 21, if we did 21 times 6 minus 15, minus 11, we would still end up with the answer of 115. Okay. All right, let's take a look at these last two, and then that'll wrap us up for the day. For number 8, it says if angle A and angle B are complementary angles, the measure of angle A is equal to 2x plus 11, and the measure of angle B is equal to 10x minus 17. Find the measure of angle A. So right here, because they're telling us that they're complementary, we already know that we need to add the equal 90 degrees. So that's going to be angle A and angle B. So when we write that up, that's going to be 2x plus 11 plus 10x minus 17 equals 90 degrees. And then from here, we're going to end up with 12x minus 6 equals 90. Then we're going to end up with 12x equals 96 because we add 6 to both sides. Then we're going to end up with x equals, what is that, 8. So x equals 8 because we divide both sides by 12. Now, although we've solved for x, they want us to find the measure of angle A. So the measure of angle A is equal to 2 times 8 plus 11, which is going to give us 16 plus 11, which is going to give us 27. So the measure of angle A is equal to 27 degrees. Now, this last one here says if angle N and angle P are supplementary angles, the measure of angle N is equal to x plus 3, and the measure of angle P is equal to 7x minus 15. Find the measure of angle P. So they want us to find the measure of angle P given this information, which says that they're supplementary, which we know we have to add to equal 180, and the two angles that we're adding to equal 180 are N and P. So that's going to give us 1x plus 3 plus 7x minus 15 equals 180. And then we combine our like terms. That's going to give us 8x minus 12 equals 180. Then we're going to add 12 to both sides. That's going to give us 8x equals 192. And then when we divide both sides by 8, that's going to give us 24. Okay? Now, although we solve for x, they're asking us to find the measure of angle P. So the measure of angle P is equal to 7 times 24 minus 15. 7 times 24, once you work that up, is 168. And 168 minus 15 is 153. So the measure of angle P is 153 degrees. All right. Hopefully you learned something from this video, and I will see you all next time. Deuces.